Narcissistic people have certain habits, and they can be defined, they can be understood, you can learn about them, and that's going to equip you to determine in a better way how you want to interact with them. Hello, I'm Dr. David Hawkins, Director of the Marriage Recovery Center and the Emotional Abuse Institute. And I want to continue on now with the 7 habits of highly narcissistic people. They are habits. You can learn about them. You can learn what you want to do to interact with them in a healthier way. All right, a quick review. The 7 habits. The first 3 were, they have a habit of believing they are always right. Yeah, always right. Rigid thinking. The second one, they have an attitude of superiority. The second habit of highly narcissistic people, they have an attitude of superiority. Always, I see it all the time when I look deeper within an individual's character. Number 3, they act like they shouldn't be challenged and that you have no right to challenge or confront them. Now I want to talk about the 4th habit of highly narcissistic person. And that is, they believe they have the right to be hurtful. And you deserve to be hurt. Now that's crazy, isn't it? Isn't it just crazy? Who could possibly believe that they have the right to be hurtful? Well, if you layer it in with all of the other habits that I've listed, the belief that they are always right, the belief that they are superior, the belief that they deserve to never be challenged, then you start to think, well, maybe it's not so far-fetched that they would also think they have the right to be hurtful. I mean, if you're hurt, that's just your problem, is what they think. And so, you know this, you've read this, that highly narcissistic people lack empathy. They lack compassion. So they can move through the world in a very hurtful way and either be oblivious to the hurt, maybe, or if they're not oblivious to the hurt, they can justify it, minimize it, rationalize it, defend it, argue against it, blame shift it, make excuses for it, all kinds of self-protection to make it okay in their mind that they've done what they've done. And if you've gotten hurt, that's your problem and your business. They have the right to do what they did. And by the way, think about this. If this individual, whether it's a workmate, a marriage partner, whoever, a friend, if they do this again and again and again and again and again, pretty soon they're kind of anesthetized to it. I mean, they've justified their actions so frequently, so often, that it becomes second nature to them. Incredible as it may sound, when we step back and we go, are you aware of how doggone hurtful you are? I talk like this, by the way, to individuals that I'm working with that have narcissistic tendencies. Did you see what you just did? Often, not always, but often it is what? Well, I just told them that I thought they were wrong. Yeah, but you said it bluntly, harshly. Maybe it's a passive-aggressive shot across the bow. Yeah, you're always like that, rolling the eyes. Did you see what you just did? What? Well, they are always wrong, and I mean, what did I do? And it's kind of incredible to me that this On the one hand, this individual has such a thin skin, they are so easily wounded, and on the other hand, they're so oblivious to the harm that they're causing to everyone around them. All right. The fourth habit of the highly narcissistic person is they have the right to be hurtful, and they believe that you deserve it. What to do, what to do, what to do. Here are some steps that I want you to take. Number one, I want you to state emphatically what they did. By the way, it's always best to make it an observation. You walked out of the room when I was talking. You just interrupted me. You just talked over me. You just called me a name. And you state very clearly, you see what has happened. And that's going to be important. It's important for self-validation, and it's important to make a statement to them. I see what you have done, and I'm going to name it. Number two, I want you to state emphatically your feelings about what has happened. When you talk over me, I feel insignificant. When you interrupt me, I feel unheard. Now, by the way, folks, bear in mind, this may not stem the tide. This may not make a horrendous difference, but it makes a difference to you. It makes a difference to you. You're standing up for yourself. You are stating, I see what's going on, and I'm going to talk about my feelings. Number three, I want you to state the consequences. If you continue to interrupt me, I'm going to stop talking. No big threat. No big, you're not going to call anybody in any names. You're just going to state, look, here's what you did. Here's how I feel about what you did. And here are the consequences for what you are doing and what you've done to me. Here's what I'm going to do. And then the fourth point that I just said as well, and that is state what needs to change. For me to keep talking, I'm going to need you to validate what you hear me saying. For me to present my concerns, I'm going to need you to be able to accept my concerns. Otherwise, I'm not going to share them. All right. So we do these 4 steps again and again and again and again. What are the 4 steps again? We state emphatically what has happened very clearly. You walked out of the room when I was talking. You talked over me. You lied to me about the money that you spent. Whatever it is, state emphatically what has happened. State emphatically how you feel about it. And by the way, let's get good at naming feelings. I feel dismissed. I feel unheard. State emphatically the consequences of their actions. If you're going to talk over me, I'm going to stop sharing. If you're not going to co-parent with me, I'm going to parent on my own. If you don't treat my work here at the job with respect, I may be looking for another job. Whatever it is, state the consequences. And number 4, state what needs to change. For me to stay on this job, for me to stay in this relationship, for me to speak my mind, here is what I need to have happen. All right. Is any of this magic? It is not. It is not magic. But it is you showing up for you and you stating very clearly who you are, what you think, what you feel, and what you want. And that will be noticed first and foremost by you. Well done, pat on the back. I notice that you're showing up and showing up well. All right, I hope this has been helpful. Let me know what you think. I look forward to hearing from you. And as always, if we can be of helpful to you, be of more help to you, contact our client care team and we will get you hooked up with the right services. All right, take care, and as always, God bless.